In today's passage, Jesus came to a critical moment in his life and faced the problem of what he should do with his limited time on the earth. One of those days, Jesus went out to a mountainside to pray and spent the night praying to God. Jesus went to a mountainside to pray. Jesus always lived a life of prayer. It seems nothing new for Jesus to pray. He was often in prayer. But this particular time was different as he spent the night praying to God. It was an all-nighter. In order to pray, he spent the whole night without sleep. How should he spend his limited amount of time left on this earth? His prayer showed his willingness to submit to God's will and seek direction from God himself. Today is the second day of the new year. Are you willing to submit to God's will and pray for God's will for yourself this year? Are you praying earnestly for what God would have you do in this new year? After Jesus spent the whole night praying to God, God gave him a clear direction. He became convicted how God wanted him to use his remaining time on earth. Jesus appointed 12 apostles to preach the gospel to the whole world. Jesus has called us to be warriors and disciples in this spiritual battle. How can we win the battle? As Jesus did, we must pray with all of our hearts and be empowered by the Spirit. Through this, Jesus raised a small number of disciples as apostles and established God's new community. This is what Jesus would do if we were here in the world today. Instead, we must learn from today's passage and follow in Jesus' footsteps, devoting ourselves to prayer, learning Jesus deeply, and serving people until they are raised as disciples and kingdom workers for the next generation. May God help us spend our time and energy as a church with this in mind in the new year. In the year 2022, may God bless us as a disciple-making community that prays,